Hi, thank you for tuning in. My name is Devin McCauley, and I'll be sharing an overview of my paper, Family and Individual Risk Factors for Triangulation, Evaluating Evidence for Motion Coaching Buffering Effects. This is a study I've worked on with my mentor and co-author, Gregory Fosco, and I'm excited to share our findings with you. So triangulation refers to a family process in which children become drawn into their parents' conflicts. And triangulation can manifest in a number of ways. For example, the parents can pressure their child to take side in an argument or shift blame onto their child, or the child can intervene and attempt to stop their parents from arguing. And we have plenty of evidence that triangulation is harmful for adolescent development. For example, triangulation is associated with adolescents' increased psychological maladjustment, as well as increased conflict in the relationship with parents and peers. What we still don't fully understand is why families engage in this harmful process. As a result, we don't know much about preventing triangulation from taking hold in families. When we think about it from a family systems perspective, we think that by shifting attention away from the interparental dyad and onto the child, parents may be able to diminish the intensity of their own conflicts. But we also know that families are highly interdependent systems, and there may be vulnerabilities for triangulation throughout domains of family functioning. And that's what this particular study is set to examine. We wanted to evaluate family level, parent, and adolescent characteristics, which may represent risk factors for triangulation. And also, we are curious about examining parent emotion coaching as a protective factor for these risks. Parent emotion coaching refers to parents' sensitive and constructive orientation toward their children's experience and expression of emotions, and is a core component of a broader meta-emotion philosophy. So we drew upon longitudinal data from 174 two-parent families with assessments of triangulation and family functioning 6 months apart, and performed a series of autoregressive analyses. What we found was that risk for increases in triangulation existed throughout the family system, as we predicted. At the family level, poor family cohesion, reflecting low levels of supportiveness and connectedness between family members, predicted increases in triangulation over time. We believe that when families have weaker bonds, conflict between parents may be more likely to spread throughout the family and involve adolescent children. At the parent level, high levels of parental depression also predicted increases in triangulation over time. We think this may be because parents struggling with depression often experience reduced marital satisfaction and are sometimes more avoidant during conflict. Consequently, this may make it more likely that depressed parents may turn to their adolescent children for emotional support during their conflicts with their partners, or that adolescents may intervene in interparental conflict in an attempt to try and offer support to a parent they may perceive as emotionally vulnerable. At the adolescent level, adolescents with higher difficulties in emotion regulation were more likely to become entangled in their parents' conflicts over time. We believe these particular adolescents may have greater difficulty coping with the distress caused by their parents' conflicts and end up becoming involved, either through trying to stop their parents' fights or perhaps acting out in a way that draws their parents' attention away from their fights and onto them. Now, when we evaluated parent emotion coaching as a potential protective factor, we found some interesting gender differences in the patterns and results. For boys, low levels of interparental conflict combined with low parent emotion coaching represented the greatest risk for increases in triangulation over time. However, when emotion coaching was high for boys, triangulation actually decreased in the context of low interparental love. We think that in families with distressed relationships between parents, emotion coaching may go a long way toward helping adolescent boys learn how to cope with the distress they feel in response to their parents' conflicts. Additionally, parents who practice emotion coaching are typically more sensitive to their children's emotions, and so may be actively trying to prevent their adolescent sons from becoming entangled in potentially upsetting disputes. For girls, however, it was a different picture. Low levels of interparental conflict was again a risk factor for triangulation, but level of emotion coaching didn't have the same type of protective effect. It seems for adolescent girls, the quality of their parents' relationship was the most important factor in predicting changes in triangulation over time, demonstrating the importance of a strong, committed bond between parents for stable family functioning. We think these gender differences in the findings may also reflect that boys and girls may become involved in their parents' conflicts for different reasons and in different ways. We know girls are often socialized to prioritize harmonious social relationships, So their involvement in their parents' conflicts may be sometimes due to gendered expectations that they support family functioning in times of distress. If this is the case, emotion coaching may not necessarily change girls' risk for triangulation because they're not becoming involved due to dysregulated emotion. Adolescent boys, however, typically don't receive the same type of emotion socialization as girls and are often discouraged from showing emotion, which may make it more difficult for them to cope effectively with the distress caused by interparental conflict. Emotion coaching then may help provide adolescent boys the tools they need to regulate their own emotions and refrain from involving themselves in the parents' conflicts due to distress. So in conclusion, this paper shows that risk for triangulation does exist throughout the family system, namely poor family cohesion, parental depression, and adolescents' difficulty in regulating emotions. Furthermore, emotion coaching was a protective factor, particularly for adolescent boys, potentially reflecting differences in how boys and girls are socialized regarding emotion and family roles. These findings underscore the value of tailored intervention efforts that acknowledge gendered family dynamics and also highlight multiple sources of risk for triangulation throughout the family that could potentially be targeted in family intervention settings. Thank you for your attention, and I hope you found this article informative. Thanks very much.